Recorded live at the beautiful Black Box Studios in New York, New York. It's the Mattandedshow, hosted by Matt and Ed.
And Maxim.
Indeed.
Alrighty. We are here, episode 4 of the Matt and Ed Show. My name is Matt.
My name is Ed.
And we have another special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I would, Matthew. Hello. I am Maxim, and I am the guest on the 4th episode.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Maxime, before we go into our tradition here with the guests.
Sure, yeah. So I lived in New York since I was 3, and I was born in Belgium. I'm in the same grade as Ed and Matthew, and I have some classes with Matt as well. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. The movie we watched is one of my favorites, so I'm very excited to talk about it. And
Yeah, so we have a tradition here. You may or may not know this. Probably not. So whenever we have a guest,
You're number 2.
Make them.
Is it not whenever?
Make them come up with a nickname for themselves.
Oh,
this is their official Matt and Ed Show nickname.
You have 7 seconds.
You have 7 seconds.
Okay.
If not, I will provide one for you.
Okay. Something with my name.
3.
Mad Max.
Mad Max. All right. So also, I'd just like to do the plugs real quick. So
Sure.
This is the Matt and Ed Show. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Matt and Ed Show. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/Matt and Ed Show. Subscribe to us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Matt-and-Ed-Show.
I like that.
And if you want to send us an email, mattandEdshow@gmail.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess, how's everyone's week been?
It's been good. Very relaxing because we just finished exams last week. Preach to that.
Yeah.
We took a little recording break for the exam week.
Break for a week in a misguided effort to pass school.
Yeah,
that's
it's
enough.
very misguided because we
work out.
obviously didn't. That's the fact we're still here. And so it's summer break, pretty much. I mean, our last day is tomorrow, which is pretty exciting.
Appreciate that.
What are you guys doing over the summer?
I am going to Italy for a couple of weeks, Venice, Rome, doing the whole thing, and then I'm taking a cruise through the Greek islands. Should be very fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Really cool.
What about you, Ed? What are you doing?
I'm going to be in Ireland for a month. I'm going to jazz camp for a couple weeks. I'm going to spend a couple weeks in Rhode Island, in this town that is not only the whitest place I've ever been, but like the waspiest place I've ever been. No, it's called Little Compton.
That's great. That's great.
I'm straight out of Little Compton.
Exactly.
Very misleading title.
Yeah. I have friends who constructed a rap called Straight Out of Little Compton.
No, I don't want to hear that.
I'm not going to perform it for you, but it's amazing.
Thank you.
Speaking of performances, don't you have something to plug, Ed?
I do have
yes.
something to plug. Speaking of performances and also speaking of the spitting of bars, by the time you're listening to this, I will have dropped my debut mixtape under the name The Walrus. Mixtape is called Proof of Concept. You can probably find it on SoundCloud. I think that's where I'm going to release it. I haven't released it as I say this now.
We can even upload it to the YouTube channel if you so desire. I can do that for you.
We could do that.
I guess. Well, just quick shout outs.
Wait, Matthew. How was your week?
How was your week?
And what are you doing for the summer? Come on.
Yes.
What is this?
Oh, you guys. Okay, my week was pretty good. I mean, it's when it's exam week, you're here pretty much. You're not here every day. I was. But and then you get your exams back. Some go better than others. You're really worried about some or you're worried about others. Over the summer, after Ed and I record our summer-long marathon, which we are happy to announce, we will be having our first ever story arc.
No
Get
way.
ready.
Oh my God, this is news to me too, guys. I'm very excited. Okay.
In which we'll be recording a bunch of episodes. Then I'm
gonna be a
heading
good
off
day.
and I'm working at a summer camp
Nice.
as the co-head of the evening programs and special activities there.
Damn.
So that's what I'm looking forward to a
Nice.
lot over the summer, and that's why we have to record a lot of episodes. And we're going to talk about our story arc. I guess we can talk about it now if you want.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
So we are going to be embarking in our first ever story arc.
We're going to
This is actually, it's ironic because the
Yeah.
first ever member of this iconic role just passed away this
It is.
weekend.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
really? Who?
We are going to
Man,
be
the legend.
doing a Batman movie story arc here, everyone.
We are going to have continuity.
Nice.
We are going to go episode to episode. We are going to go movie to movie, and we are going to talk about Batman. And there are a few things I love to talk about more
Yes.
than Batman.
We are going to start off reviewing the Batman from 1989, starring Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton.
Mostly Jack Nicholson.
Then we're gonna hype into Batman Returns, I believe it's called, with the Penguin, Danny DeVito. As
only man who should ever be cast as the Penguin.
Following that, we're going to go take a trip down to Batman Forever.
No.
With Jim Carrey and
Tommy Lee Jones.
Lee Jones. Yeah. And then we're going to hop into the critically acclaimed Batman and Robin.
Oh my God. The first time I saw that movie, I loved it because I was about 6 years old. Yeah.
And then we're going to finish off with one of my all-time favorite movies, The Dark Knight.
Oof. Get ready.
So we are going to be recording a Batman story arc over the summer. We also have a couple more episodes with a couple more guests, which we'll talk about later. Yeah. Also, speaking of guests, I'd like to give another shout-out to Drew. Thank you so much for being on the show last week. We really appreciated it. First ever guest. You can check out that episode if you want. Mattandedshow at gmail.com. If you are nope, that's the Gmail. YouTube.com/Mattandedshow. Just look up Mattandedshow. You'll find it. The Man with the Golden Gun. It was a great review. Super cool to have it at Drew's.
It was fun. Yeah.
I'm really glad we got to do it. So I guess we're not going to talk about right this second, but what did we watch tonight under Maxim's request? Or not tonight, last night.
Last night. Oh, yes. My request for the movie was A Knight's Tale. It was one of my favorite movies growing up. It also introduced me to a whole new type of music that I really, really liked, kind of like oldies and like classic rock songs.
The 80s.
The 80s, exactly.
And time for music.
Yeah, and it was funny because shortly after I watched A Knight's Tale, or no, a year later, I watched The Dark Knight. And when they told me that Heath Ledger was the Joker and also William in A Knight's Tale, I couldn't believe it. It was absolutely incredible. Because
did you see their crossover, A Dark Knight's Tale?
No, I didn't see that. What is that?
It's not real.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
But it was like I just put the names together of the movies, and I'm pretty sure it's probably a YouTube video.
It's probably a YouTube video. If it's not a YouTube video, give us money and we'll make it.
Definitely. Yes.
Totally give us money. Mattandedshow@gmail.com.
Always.
For sure. And I think it was really interesting seeing both movies because it shows how like amazing of an actor he was. Yeah. He was incredible.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Sure. Get into it.
I guess. What? Let's talk about Maxim a little bit.
Let's do that.
What are some of your favorite movies and TV shows?
Growing up?
You can talk about growing up. You can talk about now. We don't really care.
Okay, TV shows. I'd have to say when I was little, and I love talking about TV shows when I was little because it's so nice to think, to remember those times. Drake and Josh was one of my all-time favorite TV shows growing up.
On Monday, we had our music exam, which was everyone just got together and sight read a piece. Yeah. And Maxime and I were sitting together, and somehow Drake and Josh came up. And we started singing the theme song in just the middle of the band, and we were like, I never find that it'd be so simple, but I find a way.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, so what were some of your other favorite shows?
SpongeBob, obviously, the classic, right? Everyone loves SpongeBob.
Can't go wrong with SpongeBob.
Yeah, I hear it's getting bad now, though. I hear it's been going on for way too long.
I mean, it's been going on for like 17 years.
Insane. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Like,
oh my God.
There's a certain point where like the odds are that it's sort of decayed.
Yeah, of course.
Because like any premise will decay if left unchecked for too long.
Yeah.
And the premise of SpongeBob is irritating sponges fry cook under the sea. This is not like a premise with I'm ready. Longevity. That was amazing.
I'm ready.
Nice.
No, I once saw a recording of the cast doing like a live reading of the SpongeBob thing. Really? It was so cool.
Yeah, that was
like because
awesome.
like you see like these middle-aged men talking about like, oh hey Patrick.
CINTFIRESONG songs.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so well, I know there's one show you actually did get me into specifically. It involves Barry Allen.
Oh my God, The Flash. Yes, of
course.
The
Flash.
It's so honestly lately there's been a bit of a love-hate relationship with The Flash because I've been realizing there's a lot wrong with the show. I can't deny
his
that.
physics.
Yeah, but there's a lot right with it too. They pull some really cool stuff off. Season 3 just finished.
I have not seen season 3, so if you spoil it, you're not going to be on the show.
Okay.
I'm going to cut you out. I'm going to mute every time you talk.
So Maxime, what are your interests? Cool.
Wow, that's real interesting. I'm so glad you could be on this.
So for all our sakes, don't tell us who Savitar is.
Yeah, no, I will not. Oh, well, I could totally.
I haven't seen a single moment
I could totally tell that right now. But
yeah,
I will not.
Don't. You don't know how mad people get at us when we say something that's kind of spoilerish.
Of course,
but then like we watch Air Buddies. So
I remember
we can really.
We went for unspoilable things.
Yeah.
All the time.
I remember when I was watching Interstellar, and I was really hyped for this movie, right? Because like I loved space, and it seemed so good, and all my friends went to go watch it in the theaters, right? And I didn't go. And then the next day...
Just for the record, I wasn't invited to go to either screening of Interstellar.
But no, I saw it with my dad eventually. But before, when everyone saw it, like our friend group, William, Oscar, and stuff, shout out.
Shout out to William, Oscar,
Lads.
And
Yuki.
Yuki.
Yeah. And so, yeah,
Yuki is separate from the lads.
Yeah.
Lads and Yuki.
Lads plus Yuki.
No way Yuki's listening to this, boy.
Actually. But, so yeah, they went to go watch it. And then the next day, I remember they were talking about it. And I was like, please, no spoilers, no spoilers. And they were all kind of joking around. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna spoil it," and none of them did, except James. Rip James.
James.
Rest in peace,
James.
People are gonna think James is dead.
No, he's not. I just
he lives in Australia.
Yeah, he lives in
He's
Australia.
not technically dead.
No.
Unless something really bad happened in Australia that I'm unaware of.
Well, I talked to him this morning, so I don't think.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and James spoiled the biggest part basically. And it was a very sad moment.
Was it the part where the movie
Don't
was really loud?
Yeah, with the soundtrack. Yeah, it was that part. It was like it's really loud. No, but I won't say if anyone listening to the movie.
I have not seen Interstellar. So.
Okay.
Oh my god, you have to watch it.
It's a good movie.
I loved it.
I remember the worst spoiler moment any movie had ever been spoiled for me was for Avengers: Age of Ultron.
No way, someone spoiled that.
I'm not gonna get into details, but there's a death in Age of Ultron. Someone dies.
Yeah.
And I had been so careful. I hadn't watched any trailers for that movie.
Yeah.
I hadn't clicked any links on the entire internet that had it in the title. I gave up browsing the usual nerd sites that I spend time on because I was afraid of spoilers.
Right.
But then on the day I went to watch the movie, I was in biology class.
Oh, no.
And the person next to me.
It wasn't me, was it?
No,
we were in
no.
the same bio class.
No, this was in middle. I think this was in middle school.
Oh, okay. No, it came out like 2 years ago.
What, Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
No, like 3.
Yeah.
3 or something like
It
that.
was 3 years ago.
So yeah, end of middle school.
I was here. So I was in bio class. And someone was reading a listicle. And that was a listicle detailing things about Marvel movies. Yeah. And I am easily distracted in my classes. So like a fool, I looked.
Oh, God.
And I saw. And I tried to forget, but you can't.
No, you can't forget.
You
Thank
can
God it wasn't one of the main
genie back in
plots.
the bottle.
It was interesting. It was kind of like a side death.
Yeah.
They went over pretty quickly.
The worst spoiler that ever happened to me is my dad ruined The Sopranos for me. Yeah, like the greatest show of all time. Shout out to Dad, I love you, but but the thing with my dad is, and my mom will makes fun of him for this. Which one of us does a podcast, and can't even speak in the normal sentence. He has a tendency to spoil things, and when he does, he will give you a frame by frame little inception of how it ends. And in fairness, I did ask for it. I did say, because I'm actually surprising. I don't usually care about spoilers that much. Like even when I watch,
how could you?
Like
it's like Mr. Moore talked about this to our English teacher. He talked about how spoiling something isn't really important because you still learn about how it happens. I don't know.
I understand entirely why people, but for me, it's not the point A, point B. It's how point A gets to point B that's interesting to me. Right. So I watch a lot of different sports as well. So I can see a score of a sports game and I won't be like super affected by it. Yeah.
Yeah, you still watch it.
Yeah, I still like to watch it.
I think sports is different though. I think sports is different than movies because movies has this. There's really a lot more to appreciate when you're watching the journey between A and B. While sports, it's kind of like the reason you watch it is to see also the result.
But I feel like sorry to interrupt, but I feel like with sports, it's like you want to watch it live.
Yeah,
like there's much more. There's much more of a
appealing.
Like we don't want to spoil it. Yeah. Whereas movies, like inherently like trailers can spoil things. But with a sports game, you never know because it's like live.
Yeah,
and it's not predetermined.
That's true.
So I think that's like why a lot of people don't like my dad will do this thing because he's a big NBA fan and the NBA finals were of course this past week, 2 weeks ish, and so he tapes the game because he doesn't like commercials, but he will go on a complete shutout from like every single site, Twitter, Facebook, Grantland. Well, not Grantland anymore, but because that closed. And
rest in peace.
But he'll go on his shutdown, and then he'll like for 2 hours, and then like I know what happens. Not that I watch because I'm not really a huge basketball fan myself, but like I still keep updated, with stuff. I'm much more of a hockey fan, anyways. Damn Penguins.
Damn Penguins.
Yeah. But so he you cannot talk to him, and sometimes I'll just walk into the living room while he's like watching the game, knowing full well who won, and I'll be like, Golden State. And then I'll be like, no!
That's great.
And then
That's
sometimes
awesome.
I'll just say a team who isn't playing. Just completely mess with them.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I think there's a thing with movies and spoilers where there are certain movies that are spoilable and certain movies that are not spoilable because it's all about what you're going to the movie to see.
Sure.
Like
definitely.
sometimes the entire value of the movie is inherent in a twist.
Yeah.
Like if you spoil an M. Night Shyamalan movie, other than that one that we watched that was horrible that one time, The Last Arbandar.
Yeah, Avatar.
But like a lot of his early stuff, if you know the twist, the movie
like
does
Sixth
not.
Sense. Sixth Sense is a perfect example. Have you
The
guys
Sixth
seen that?
Sense is a perfect example.
If you spoil that movie, you might as well not watch it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
There's no value to watching the movie without it, so you've been robbed of the chance to enjoy this movie.
And that's terrible. I think
think
that's horrible.
Growing up in the internet age that we're in, I think a large part of it too is like when you there are some things you're just inherently gonna know.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't seen the
Yeah.
movie or anything,
Yeah.
like Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Rosebud in Citizen Kane. You know what that is.
You know what that is.
Yeah,
There's some things you just inherently know just by being a person.
And it's funny because at the time when those movies came out, it wasn't, right? So we take it as this thing where it's like, oh, everybody knows that. But when Star Wars 5 first came out, it was a huge thing.
Especially since, the efforts they made to keep that secret.
Yeah.
They gave them another
different
script.
line, yeah.
The original twist was Obi-Wan killed your father.
Oh,
But then
really?
That's what the
when
actor
they were,
said because James Earl Jones does the voiceover. So then when they were filming the scene, they said, Obi-Wan killed your father. And
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
The only
That's
person
how
who
hard they
knew
kept-
were the director and
That's
James Earl
James
Jones.
Earl Jones.
Like David Prowse, who was the body of Darth Vader, didn't even find out until later.
Until the movie came out.
Actually,
Or,
I
yeah,
think
before.
Mark Hamill was found out just before.
Yeah.
So he could react.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
otherwise,
yeah.
It's like, but you can't tell
no
anyone.
one
Yeah.
knew. That's
Yeah.
that's how tight. they
Yeah, I was
kept
about
People
to
were
say,
careful.
how would Mark Hamill react in that way if it's like Obi-Wan killed
I
your father?
think
It's
they
like,
just.
that's impossible. It's like, you might have done it.
He's such a nice old man.
He's not even that nice of an old man.
Yeah, no.
I have many feelings about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well,
Really?
when we talk about Star Wars,
Yeah.
which
We'll
I know
talk about
Maxim
Star
would
Wars.
love to be a part of
yes,
one of those episodes.
Please invite
Awesome.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, Star Wars
We'll bring you
is-
back, but we'll only bring you back for Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
No. No.
Attack of the Clones and then Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
In that order.
The perfect order. Yeah.
Did I sit next to you for Star Wars 7?
Maybe, yeah.
We went to- I know we went together.
We went together as like a whole group, and it was. I remember that was one of the most exciting moments. We lined up 2 hours before. Everyone was so excited, and like there was some people who were like doubting it, like, oh, it's gonna be terrible. But I was one of those people like, nah, this is gonna be. This is gonna be a good shit because they knew what was on the line. They knew what they were dealing with.
They knew
and
the stakes.
Yeah, they knew. And I can't wait for
it
the
was a
second.
different
I can't wait for it.
director.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I remember the sense of camaraderie. Like I went to see it a Friday morning after it came out.
Nice.
We saw it
That's
that
great.
night.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw Friday night.
Yeah. But I remember I was there alone because I
Yeah.
couldn't find anyone to go with me because no one would come out to New Jersey.
Yeah.
And-
New Jersey.
So-
no thanks.
I know.
Anyway, okay.
But
yeah.
I'm in the line, and there's just such a sense of camaraderie because everyone's there
Yeah.
because they've just had this relationship with these movies. Like there was a
Exactly.
guy online that was a UPS driver that was supposed to be driving to like Tallahassee, but he took a few hours out of his day to just come
great.
watch this
Yeah.
movie.
I had a similar thing happen when I went to go play the new Smash game.
Oh, yeah.
Early at like a Best Buy thing. We
Yeah.
waited in that. There were three of us. It was me, Reese. No, it wasn't Reese. He ditched last minute. It was me, John, and Nick.
Nice.
And guess who won those games? Just
Yeah,
shout
you
out
did,
to
yeah.
me.
Okay, that's
But
great.
we waited in line and we had like a whole like conversation with about 9 or 10 people, and we just were joking around. It was so much fun.
That's
It was one of
awesome.
my most fun days, and not because we played, because we only played for about like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was just like the camaraderie of everyone being together
Yeah.
under one unanimous
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Motivated
being
by love for
under
something.
like a certain
Yeah.
king, or like in a medieval times when everyone was united under one thing. Speaking of medieval times,
Here
let's
we
talk
go!
about The Knight's
Exactly.
Tale.
That was
like it.
perfect.
That's how you do a segue.
Yeah, yeah.
So, A
Slam
Knight's
dunk in
Tale.
the segue.
Just a couple fun facts. This movie was released May 11th, 2001. 2001, and it stars Heath Ledger as William Thatcher / Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. Also stars Leah Cowell as the young William Thatcher. Rousseff Swell as Court Adamar.
Count.
Oops, I said Count on my
Adamar,
notes.
yeah.
In my notes, I wrote that. What do you guys think the budget was for this movie? Take a ballpark guess. Maxime, you can go first because you're the guest.
Okay. So considering that there wasn't probably a lot of CGI. I mean, there was one scene with the church, and like you can immediately see it was CGI. But I have to guess. What? Oh, who's my okay? I'd have to guess 65 million.
Okay. What do you think?
I was really wrong with the budget last time, so I'm gonna be relatively close to Maxime. I'm gonna say like 75 million.
Maxime, did you look it up?
I swear I did not look it up.
It is 65 million.
No way! No way! Oh my god. Is that a new record? That's a new record, right?
Oh, well, actually, Ed got
Oh,
one.
I got a Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah, you got a Rotten
Oh,
Tomatoes.
nice. That's great. I swear I didn't
That's
look it up.
amazing.
I didn't look it up.
Okay, let's see if you can repeat your
Alright.
streak. What was the box office? How much money did this
Box
movie make?
office. Okay.
Or did this movie make money?
I think it made money, yeah. But I'm gonna guess total profits 120 million.
Okay, what do you think?
I'm gonna be close to Maxime because Maxime clearly has his finger on the pulse, and I'm gonna say maybe 125 million.
It is 117.5 million. So Maxime
Takes it again.
Okay.
All right. One more thing. What is the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Rotten Tomatoes. Okay.
I saw this.
You saw this?
I saw this by
Yeah,
accident when I was
this.
looking for the movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess. I might be a little biased because I really like it, but I'm gonna guess 89%.
You were very wrong.
Oof.
This got 58%.
What?
It is in fact
No.
not even considered fresh.
No way. That's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I think I'm the only one.
critics
That's
were
just
apparently
slow.
not kind to this.
I have
movie.
some comments from critics if you don't.
Oh yeah. I'd
Here
love
we
to hear
go.
them. Yes.
So,
please.
the most famous movie review of all time, Roger Ebert, rated
man,
it
that-
3 out of 4 stars,
Okay.
stating that the movie pointed out that orchestral score would be equally anachronistic since orchestras hadn't been invented in the 1400s.
Man has a
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that
that's true.
score. later.
Yeah, so there's a lot of music is a very big thing in this movie.
Yeah.
Music is my favorite part.
If
of
you
it.
were
Yeah,
a fan,
actually,
if
same.
you're, I wrote down my pros and cons. That music was like the first thing I wrote down.
Yeah.
Because I myself am a big fan of the 80s rock.
Yes.
Always.
Me too.
80s rock is kind of my favorite era of music, and when the credits rolled to "You Shook Me All Night Long,"
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
It was
so
amazing.
happy.
The moment I heard that song, I added it to my phone.
Shook
Me
me
all night long. Yeah.
No one
There's a
knows.
lot of-
No one knows the rest. That's it. It's the lyric. It's the
yeah,
song.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
So this movie is about jousting.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of jousting.
It's, at its core, it's a sports movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what happened about some of the jousting? It did not lead. There were some injuries.
Oh,
so
really?
the initial scene where the two knights jousted is actually footage of Heath Ledger's stunt double.
Interesting.
So during filming of a latter scene in the film, the lance the stunt double opened moved off target and hit him in the head.
Ooh.
So the double fell to the ground unconscious.
Damn.
So
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, I
also,
can't imagine.
there was another incident in which Ledger knocked out one of the director's teeth with a broomstick when they were demonstrating a jousting move.
So they were demonstrating the jousting.
It
That's
ended
what
up
was
taking
injured.
several months for his mouth to heal enough to
No
repair
way.
the damage.
Man, that
That's
sucks.
insane.
Yeah,
That's
this
crazy.
movie is a violent movie.
Yeah, it is. It's
It's a violent movie, but with a really low body count. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone dies.
and another thing I really like about the violence. It's kind of it's unique as
No,
to
there's
that.
one guy that dies in the very beginning. The
That's
original.
true.
Oh, he dies.
That's the
Yeah,
catalyst
yeah.
for the story. Because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
watch the
It is.
movie.
Okay, the first thing that happens is someone dies.
Yeah.
But then nobody else.
Yeah, yeah. But what I like about the violence is that it's almost like it doesn't like glorify it to the point where it gives like a purpose to it. It's not violence for sake of violence, like an action movie or something. It's violence for like it's seen as it's almost like symbolism, in my opinion. Like it shows like strength and like endurance, not just physically but also like mentally with William's character. I think it's really interesting how they do that.
So the weird thing is, you guys like this movie a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought this
Definitely.
movie was like all right. I thought it was on the better side of all right. I
Okay,
didn't think it was
okay.
great.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is I think rare because I'm usually pretty
Yeah.
easy on movies compared to compared to Ed is usually.
Often, yeah.
And
But something about this movie just like resonated
Right?
with me.
That's what happened to me when I watched it. I watched it when I was really little, and it just stuck with me. I don't know.
So you watched it when you were a kid?
Yeah.
First time?
Yeah, my first time watching it when I was about 10 years old, and it was at a friend's house, and I completely forgot about it for so many years. Like, I was like, oh, I don't know this movie. And then I saw one, like, really funny scene of it on YouTube a couple of years back, like 2 years ago, and then I was like, oh my god, this movie. And I watched it again, and then I watched it a second time, and it just, I don't know, it clicked. I loved it. I loved it.
You know, for me, I think some of the problem is it took me a while to realize it was a comedy.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at it through like kind of a dramatic perspective,
yeah.
and like I was like,
an
"This is
issue.
Rocky on a horse."
Yeah, no, definitely.
And so I think once I realized it was a comedy, I liked it a little more.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a crown right now that's in the beautiful Black Box Studios. Realizing
I'm getting
that.
that.
Okay.
Maxim is going for the crown.
Maxim is going for the crown right now. We have King Maxim right now.
It's okay. It's justified
the throne.
because it is the Middle Ages.
King Mad Max.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right
Thank you.
here.
Thank you. I have to admit, I came up with that nickname yesterday because I knew it was a.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
I listened to the
wow.
podcast. And I came up with it yesterday.
You know
It
what
wasn't a
was
time crunch.
You know what was mine? What was gonna be mine?
Yeah, what?
You're gonna laugh so much.
Yeah.
Lamb
dude.
sauce.
No way, lamb
Yeah.
sauce?
Yeah.
That's great. That's
Maxine,
amazing.
a lot of our friendship is based on an
Gordon
adoration for Gordon Ramsay. Shout out to Gordon Ramsay.
Shout out to Gordon
Also,
Ramsay.
Can you reply to my Twitter, please? Or Matthew's Twitter?
Yeah, I
really-
tweeted something. I was
food.
like, "Hey, Maxime sent me a photo of his food," and I was like, "He's trying to make Gordon Ramsay proud."
Yes,
and like,
no.
what do you think?
It
And I
didn't work.
tweeted it to Gordon Ramsay, but apparently we're not popular enough.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, if you're listening to this podcast,
Yes.
then you probably have better things to do with your time. So don't do those things.
I just dropped my notes. So Gordon Ramsay is awesome. Also, shout out to Signa because she wanted a shout out on this show,
Yeah.
and shout out to Cameron even though he doesn't want one because he saved a major audio problem for us. He
nice.
made us realize we usually record on my computer, but apparently one of my USB things is broken, so we're recording on Ed's now because we need two microphones.
Yep.
So Ed, Maxime, why don't you guys tell us about this movie? Well, I'll go pick up my notes.
That's a good idea. All right, so I think there was a moment. I like talking about the moment in a movie where you make up your mind about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I think there's almost in any movie there's a defining moment when you know you either like this movie or you hate this movie.
Yeah.
And for me, there were two rapidly occurring moments. Like it was two moments in quick succession.
Yeah.
The first was the opening credits.
Yeah.
Now the opening
rock
credits
and roll.
are a jousting scene in slow motion while the crowd starts doing
Shattering everyone's earbuds.
yes. I am deeply sorry to people listening to this,
Now
but
I have to actually edit this. God damn it!
Yeah.
Ed.
Yeah.
sorry, dude. But
Ed.
it's set to "We Will Rock You," and
Yeah.
I went back and I rewatched that scene because I loved it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there was also, I think there's a line right after that sort of sums up the philosophy of this movie, which was, so the protagonists are Heath Ledger or William Thatcher is getting on a horse, pretending to be his newly deceased, like, boss, Sir Ector.
Yeah.
And he's getting ready, and he's like, I've waited my whole life for this.
Yeah.
And one of his bros is like, you're waiting your whole life for Sir Ector to shite himself to death?
yeah. Yeah.
And just
That's a
that
great
combination of pure medieval style
Yeah.
melodrama and
Yeah.
just taking the piss out of that
Actually-
melodrama at the same time is just something.
Exactly.
I decided then
Yeah.
that I was in love
Yeah,
with this movie.
it's amazing. It's kind of like they're making fun of themselves, but to the point where it's like the transition of it, like drama and like almost cheesy, exaggeration, and then immediately making fun of it is like something I love about this
It's
movie.
like
So,
they are, but they're not.
Yeah.
so the basic plot of this movie is there's this guy named William. He's a kind of peasant.
It's a
but
foul churl of a peasant.
Ever since he was a wee lad, he wanted to be
knight.
a knight,
A
which
knight.
meant because in this world, as any movie that opens up with making me read that's not Star Wars, I'm immediately like. It reminds us that jousting's like a big deal here.
Yeah,
In this situation, and so essentially their jousting guy dies. He just dies, perhaps of
jousting.
dysentery.
It's sort of implied,
And
dysentery.
so
The spark of his life is smothered in shite.
So
Yeah,
now he basically just has to take over, and he magically becomes an amazing jouster.
Magically? What are you talking about? There's a training montage that's absolutely
Oh,
incredible.
there are
Still
three
one
montages.
Yes,
before
there
the
are
training
3
montage.
amazing. Yeah, but
Do you
but
cut the dancing montage as a montage?
I didn't, but now I do. There are 4 montages.
no, but it was realistic because he said that all we have to do to win, because he had already won 2 points, right? All they had to do to win was stay on his horse. He didn't even have to hit anything. He didn't have to break his lance, and he did it. And I think that kind of shows his character, because the whole point of the movie is that he is resilient, right? He doesn't give up. That's kind of the end where he goes to like jail for 1 point. He doesn't back down.
I will debate you on that later.
This-
Let's
Really?
get back to it.
Okay, all right,
this,
we will.
This movie also includes his band of married
Band of nerds.
men.
Oh my God, I love them.
There's Ronald,
Yeah.
who is
Ronald.
fat.
Ronald, who is fat, and that is
There's-
more or less his only character trait.
He's also like
No.
a mechanic. He kind of is like.
It's-
There's this moment at the end where he gets impaled essentially. Not Ronald, but Willem
Yeah.
gets impaled.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And Ronald becomes a surgeon all of a sudden.
Yeah.
There's also a ginger guy whose name I never got in the movie.
What
You got
was
his
it?
name?
I think it was Watt. something
What?
like
What? Yeah, it was Watt. It was
that.
definitely
Played
Watt.
by Alan
What?
Tudyk.
What?
I love Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Love everything
Dodgeball?
he's ever done. In Dodgeball, in Rogue
funny,
One, on Firefly.
He's in Rogue One?
He's the robot in Rogue One.
No way, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. That's amazing. That's cool. Okay, nice.
I love almost everything he does.
Wait, you mean what's the robot's name? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I should know this. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Oh no! Stop! Stop! It's the big guy. The long
Calculating the
arms.
odds your plan is going to fail.
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Oh my God. Can you look it up?
I can't remember
Can you look it
either.
up? Can you look it up?
Actually.
Oh,
No, I want to say it. I want to say it. I want to say it.
And
Oh, K2SO. I knew
K2SO.
that. We did not look it up.
No.
we
remember
did
that from
not
memory.
look that up.
Yeah, we
just
remembered
now.
that from memory.
Yeah, K2SO.
Yeah,
also-
we remembered it with our memorable memories,
On the trail, they find a naked man
as
Yeah.
one does.
Oh, I love him.
who is
Oh my God.
what's
Jeffrey Chaucer.
Jeff, my
Yeah.
man.
yeah?
My man.
Is that his actual?
Yeah, he's a real
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, that's the scene I saw on YouTube that got me to watch it again. His speech.
He's amazing.
His all of his speeches in
Yeah.
a row. That's what got me to watch
So
the movie again.
there's a little bit of historical context because I did a brief unit in 6th grade history on Jeffrey Chaucer.
Oh, no way.
He was a
amazing.
writer in medieval times. He's mostly known for Canterbury Tales, which is this famous work which is about a bunch of dudes and ladies like that are basically outrunning the plague.
Yeah.
So the plague is happening, and these people are like, "Nope, we're out of here."
Yeah.
They sort of run off, and they hole up in an inn, and they tell stories to each other.
Cool.
And it's a combination
Oh,
of
so
stories.
that's the reference at the when he goes, "Oh, this would make a great story."
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
I
he's
just thought
interesting.
that was a reference to the fact that this is a movie.
Yeah, same.
That's
I thought
right.
that's when I
That's
first
yeah. No, but he goes on to become a famous writer. Like
Oh,
That's cool.
well,
his
there
work
we
is
go.
pretty good. I
He
actually
also-
recommend
There was
it.
also a female blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well.
What's her name
and-
again? She wants to go to Paris, right? That's
Yeah,
why I remember.
she wants
She
to go
wants
to
to go to
Paris.
Paris.
We don't know why she wants to go to Paris.
Her name
Yeah, I don't-
Everyone needs to be motivated by something.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
Christiana.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Christiana is. It's either Christiana, Kate, or Jocelyn, and it's not Jocelyn.
It's
Not Jocelyn.
And
It might be-
Kate's her friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kate, so it's I guess,
Jocelyn is the woman that William what's his
the
last Thatcher.
Thatcher.
Yeah, he
'Cause
sees her
Thatcher.
and
Love
he's
interest,
immediately in love
yeah.
with her. Yeah. And it's kind of a chase. thing.
Yeah, so essentially, this movie, Ed has to go actually, so he's gonna say
Yeah.
goodbye for now. But
Okay.
Maxim
So,
and I are gonna
yeah.
keep trudging on.
This has become the
The
Matt
Trudge.
and Maxime show.
Yeah.
Briefly featuring Ed.
I like it.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Y'all
Ed.
Bye, Ed.
keep my notes if you want.
Oh, nice.
Any final plugs or something before you go?
Look up my mixtape, Proof of Concept, The Walrus, and watch A Knight's Tale because no matter what Matt says after I'm gone, it's a good movie.
All right, we have the Matt and Maxime show here.
I like it.
Yeah.
M&M.
The Matt.
It's a good candy.
I tried to say
The what?
I tried to make a play on words, but it didn't work.
The Mac of.
I was trying to make like the Max ad show, but it didn't work.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, it's
Good. We
yeah,
tried.
Good try.
We
Yeah,
tried.
for
We
sure, for
tried.
sure.
All right.
Okay.
So I guess you actually were the one who told us to watch this movie.
Yes, I
Because
was.
I was like, hey, what do you want to watch? And you were like, A Knight's Tale. I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So I Googled it
Yeah.
and I was like, Heath Ledger one? And you were like,
yes.
yes.
Yes, queen.
Yes, queen.
Slay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Mad Maxime show.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
I think, I don't know. I'm going to debate you about
Okay.
this movie.
All right, yeah,
'Cause
sure.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I never. I mean, I've said this on the show before. I find laughing out loud really awkward. Like when I'm alone.
Yeah.
Like in you ever just like sit on your laptop and you're like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
No, that's no, I don't really.
So I'm just kind of. I always go like, oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. You confirm in your head like, I get what you meant by that.
I understand that joke and its context. But
exactly.
There was a point, I guess, where I was like, I haven't really laughed at all. It's like if a joke gets me, that's when I know. Like there was jokes in a man with the man with the golden gun that I got.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was just first. It took me a while to figure out it was a comedy. At first, I thought it was like just a dramatic movie that for some reason had a lot of '80s rock in it.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's because maybe it's because of my initial impression of the movie, maybe because like when I looked it up, I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I think that might have like immediately thought like, oh, this movie's like okay.
I think that's one of the reasons why I really liked it is because I watched it knowing nothing about it going in, right?
Yeah.
And I was so little, like I had never really seen movies like that before. You don't really see like Finding Nemo, all that kind of stuff. It's like always the same thing a little bit. And I think A Knight's Tale was one of the movies where I first of all I was introduced to that type of music, and like that immediately made me like fall in love with it because I just love that music. And secondly, I had I wasn't watching with any adults, right? So they weren't there to tell me, oh, this movie's terrible, right? It was just me and my friend, and like we were just laughing hysterically the whole time.
There's
no
guy like,
amazing.
hey guys, what's up? I'm Brad. This movie's garbage. It's garbaggio.
Trash.
Take this movie, throw it in trash. Hi Ed.
Ed, what do you?
What's up?
He's back.
He's back.
Yeah, he forgot.
It is back. It is now the Mattandedshow again. Briefly, I realized that I need to print something off my laptop.
Oh well, he's gonna do that while we keep talking.
Okay,
so.
all right. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But your Finding Nemo example is not very true for me because Finding Nemo was actually apparently the first movie I had ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, like at the movie theater, like.
Oh yeah,
like
okay.
legit.
I don't know what the first movie I saw at the movie theater.
And that's what my mom says. And apparently, the scene where they do the Jaws reference, with Bruce the Shark.
Yeah.
Where he's smiling. I was like 3 years old, and I thought that was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I guess when I was recording that, bye Ed.
Bye Ed. Bye again. Good luck with your thing.
Yeah, good luck. I wish we could see it, but we're too busy recording the Matt and Maxim show.
Facts.
Briefly starting
Facts. I like that.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like it. That's like I have like my little catchphrases.
Yeah,
you guys will learn that as we go on. I have like my little things that I say that's very unique.
Raunchy, I like it.
Raunchy, exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. So what you were saying? The Nemo?
Yeah.
Nemo?
So that movie was pretty terrifying to me.
Yeah.
And it took me a couple years before I could man up and watch Finding Nemo again.
For me, it was E.T. For me, E.T. I was terrified.
You were telling me about that this weekend.
Oh my god! I don't know what it was. I just saw when I saw the alien for the first time. I freaked out. I literally have never watched E.T. in its entirety. I've never done it because I was just too scared.
I don't love E.T. I mean, it's alright. It's good.
You're getting a lot of hate for that if you say you don't love E.T.
I know. I feel like I get. Maybe I'm talking about E.T. the video game that crushed the video game industry.
Yeah.
Totally talking about that, not the movie. Maybe because I watched E.T. and I was like kind of confused because I was like really tired. And you ever watch a movie when you're really tired and you're just like, what's going on?
Yeah, no. Either I watch it and I fall asleep and I have to watch it again, or I'm completely confused. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but E.T. I don't know. The alien just spooked me out. Like I was like,
spooky,
it's like a little elderly, like an old, like I don't know, like.
He looks like if Yoda was put in a washing machine.
Yeah, exactly. A really bad washing machine. Yeah, exactly. yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's when you think about it. I think this movie. Another thing that I didn't love about it is it's a long movie.
Yeah, it's really
a long.
The way I see it as kind of 3 parts, honestly. I see the first part as like him, I don't know, like becoming the knight, and I feel like each part could be a movie on its own. Like it could have been 3 parts, honestly.
I see what you mean. Well, that's what they did with Rocky, essentially.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But the first part is kind of like him becoming a knight and like embodying that, like, that personality, and the second part is like him like enjoying it, right? So you see him at the ball, you see him ask out this girl, and the third part is kind of just like a smack back to reality. Right, it's like
there goes gravity.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
there goes gravity.
Yeah. We're just smack back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, yeah, okay, no, you got something. But yeah, it's a smack back to reality. Where like he's discovered that he's not really a knight, right? He's a peasant, and that the guy, the writer, what's his name again? Jeff. Jeff, something like that. I forget. Is it Jeff?
Jeffrey. Yeah.
Jeffrey. Yeah. Jeffrey like wrote the nobility patents. That's like another thing that happens in the movie. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are moments in this movie where I was definitely like, what is going on? Like, there's the one scene where they really zoom in on the horse's eye.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a shot. And I was like, I bet someone was like, this looks really cool. But for me, it's just kind of goofy.
With the horse?
Yeah.
I think it's because, like, I don't know. I liked it because it showed that how, like, really the people with all the strength in this movie are the horses. Like, if you think about it. The guys are just, like, pointing the sticks and it's like, all right, go horse. And, like, it giving the horse that, like, zoom, I think it reminded us that, like, oh yeah, it's the horses running.
No, I get that. I mean, it's just look kind of goofy to me.
Yeah,
I get a lot of like Monty Python and the Holy Grail vibes from this movie.
Yeah. But
I mean, Monty Python and the Holy Grail is one of the funniest movies of all time. The Black Knight scene is like just it's absolutely too amazing.
Tis but a scratch.
I wrote that in my notes. I was like, I literally, and I'll read this note verbatim. I hope whenever some guy gets knocked down, he goes, "'Tis but a scratch."
Yeah,
like,
yeah, definitely.
You get a lot of vibes of that, like kind of medieval comedy. Definitely. But I feel like one of the things I did like about it is it kind of like grounds itself in the 21st century.
It does.
Like there's a lot of like feminism going on here, and like
there is.
Women being empowered in this movie. You know,
for sure.
There's not really any weak female characters. I mean, there's not a ton of female characters.
No.
I also always laughed whenever they chant any of the names, and then you just look in the crowd and like no one's moving.
Yeah. No, it's actually and
I was like,
obvious. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Like,
yeah, no.
That was when I thought it was like a comedy.
Yeah.
A drama.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a comedy. So. But the soundtrack in this movie is really good.
It's
I gotta say,
it's incredible. Yeah, I loved it.
There's also some scenes. Any scene in a movie where there's a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
There is one of those. There is one of those, right?
Any one of those is always like, this is a half decent movie. You know that could, like in my rating scale, if I was like 1 to 10, that got it up a point. Is the yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that's certainly one of the things I enjoyed about this movie.
One thing. The reason I think the main reason I really love this movie is that it kind of, when you watch it, you laugh, you cry, you get excited, and you just fall in love with the characters. I think
that is true. I think
it's absolutely, like, there's scenes where it's just so funny, and it really cuts to being really sad. Like, I think a perfect example is the scene where the funny moments, like a really good funny moment is when Jeff is giving like his introduction.
His
William.
Introductions.
It's absolutely
incredible. He's like the ring announcer.
Yeah,
so
basically.
Like,
but he goes on like forever, and like you see the other characters like, why is he doing this? But the crowd goes crazy, except for the first time. The first time it's like, what? And like the guy's like, yeah, and everyone just starts yelling. Woo! Exactly. Nice. But
then one guy in the back, Jeffrey's a dick.
After all like the crowd, like the screaming has gone down. And then another scene that was like the opposite is when like William is like reunited with his dad.
Yeah,
I think it's just an incredible,
that's a good, nice
moment.
They do a little bit of flashbacks.
Yeah,
to, like,
they do.
Him
they do.
Which I enjoyed. Is just getting to know a little more context about the character.
Sure.
Because you're thrown in, and William's like this pretty charming, smart guy. You know, but you don't really understand until they flash back how much this has really been a dream of his.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot in the society that they were in at the time, or the society the movie's set in. There's not really a whole lot of... This movie's supposed to take place over It was initially set to take place over a 6-month period.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
And it essentially... It gives you context as to what I think the characters are and what they're doing. A lot more than just like saying, "Oh, I've had this dream since I was a child."
Yeah. I think.
And there's a really touching scene where he goes to, and he kneels down next to a little girl.
Yeah.
This sounds really sus, but he talks to the little girl about his father, and kind of like it's almost like a flashback to when someone went and talked down to him when he was a kid. Yeah. And they're in a society where there's not a lot of upward movement in terms of classes.
Definitely,
you're born into being this type of person.
Yeah.
And you will be this type
forever.
Of person.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think with this movie though, you do have to have a lot of suspension of disbelief.
What do you mean by that?
I think that you can't just go into this movie and think, God, he's suddenly an amazing jouster.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
and
like,
you have to also realize, like, no one recognizes this isn't the guy. You know, at first there's a funny scene where they ask him to unmask himself, and he's like, "Oh,
the helmet
stuck into my face."
Yeah,
and
but then
everyone's just like,
okay, yeah, all right, fine, yeah, we don't care.
Fair play to him, you know.
Yeah, but then the second time he does it, that was only the first time. The second time, the only reason he can do it is because the guy writes the nobility patents, right? For what's his name again? Ulrich von Liechtenstein from Gildenham.
Ulrich von Liechtenstein.
Yeah, that's like his character name.
Yeah, that's his gimmick.
Yeah, and then it's so like one scene that I was. If you're easily like swollen, like you get really passionate easily about movies, it's awesome. But if you're not and you're kind of more like sus and held back, there's this one scene that's really weird. Yeah, like you don't really
get like sitting in the corner like. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're more held back, then it's kind of weird. But there's one scene where in the very end he's like
holding a snake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's one scene in the end where he's like yelling his name. He's like William, like he just yells William as he's like jousting the guy, and like the first time I saw it, I was like, this is awesome. But then when I saw it yesterday, I was like, what? Why did he do that? It's like, why would you scream your own name? Like it's so weird.
Yeah, I was like,
it's like imagine you did that. Imagine it's like Matthew. It's like great.
Yeah, it's like I run in to give my exam to my history teacher. Matthew.
It's like thanks, Matt.
Thanks, son.
Have a good one.
Summer, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
I think with this movie, there's also like a lot of this movie is like one of those where I feel like if I watch it with like a bunch of friends, it would be awesome. You know?
Yeah,
like, it's one of those things like no one goes to medieval times dinner and tournament alone. You know?
Yeah, of
You're
course.
not like that one guy sitting there like eating a turkey leg. Yeah, and just being like.
You know, I did that once.
Yeah.
I actually went to in Las Vegas. They had like this huge tournament.
Yeah.
And I think this is before I saw Ned Still, so I might have been like memories from that too. It's interesting, but it was like a real jousting tournament.
Yeah.
And it was in Las Vegas, and they had like you'd sit in a section of the stage, right? It was like a circle.
And they tell you which one to cheer for.
And you're for a team, and we were the evil guys. We
were like the blue guys.
You've done that too?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? And you get like a turkey leg and like a giant
and it's
like
so
jug.
awesome. And then like
feel amazing.
and then your parents are like, why did we do this?
Yeah. It's like, oh my god.
Like, this is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, exactly.
Like stuff like that. I feel like is really centric. You can't go alone to stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I feel like
of
if
course.
I wasn't like sitting in my room at 11:30 watching this movie, I probably would have enjoyed it more. You know.
True.
If you have like a bunch of, because you watch it with a friend first.
Yeah. I watched it with like two friends, I think, and then today I even watched it with someone as well. So like I never really watched it alone.
I even have a fun fact about jousting.
Oh yes.
Did you know that jousting is the state sport of Maryland?
No way.
Yeah, the official
Maryland?
State sport of Maryland is jousting.
Stop! I want to go to UMD. This is perfect.
Yeah,
I can
me
joust.
too. We'll go together and
to
joust.
bump it. Yeah, we're jousting.
We're jousting roommates.
Actually.
Yeah, hi, we're Matt and Maxim. We're here to try out for the jousting team.
I wonder if how do they do that?
That's the state sport. It's not like it's
I
like
know,
the official sport. Like everyone thinks it's lacrosse, but it's not. It's jousting.
Okay. But do they actually joust?
Not at UMD, probably not.
Okay, but in Maryland, do they still joust?
I don't know.
Because if they did, like,
we're moving there.
Really yeah, I'm moving there first of all.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they have like lightened sticks or lightened. What are they called?
Stick.
Oh my god, they say
dulled sticks.
No, they're not called sticks. The lance.
Sabers.
The lance. It's a lance. Duh. He says that.
Lance a lot. Duh.
That's pretty good, actually.
I think that might be what it's named after.
Yeah,
Probably.
actually.
I don't know.
Whoa. That'd be pretty crazy.
Did we just
what?
blow our mind?
Lance a lot?
Yeah.
Did Lancelot lance a lot?
Probably not, because he was like...
He lanced a little.
Probably had like a sword.
Yeah. He's sword a lot.
Yeah,
Why is he not called sword a lot? This
God,
makes no sense.
history, you suck.
Yeah, actually.
Sorry, Miss Watt.
Yeah.
If you listen to this.
Actually, though.
Yeah, you know history's the best.
No, it's not. Stop. I wasn't kidding, by the way. Miss Watt, for listening to this.
Yeah, Maxim's not giving... Go hunt him down.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone who's not from our school is going to be like, who are they talking about?
Yeah, actually.
We have no clue.
Miss Watt is this energetic
my
orange-haired
history teacher. She's the best.
My first impression with her was not good, though.
Really?
My first impression
did you have her for like the middle
okay, no,
school?
that was my first impression.
Yeah.
But my like first recent impression was about a couple weeks ago. Was she was my sub for physics, and I came in 10 minutes late because I knew there was gonna be a sub. Right, he was gone for like a whole week, and I came in with a coffee.
Oh, and did she say you have to get one for me
it was,
too?
But it wasn't. It was like I had no idea she was kidding. Like she seemed so serious, and no one in that class had her. So they were all like, "Oh my god, dude!" She was like, "Where's mine?" And then I was like, "What?" And then she was like, "You show up late with a coffee." And then I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Should I go?" It's like, you know what? Give it to me. And then I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, and and I was like, "What is going on?"
She pours it out. Too much sugar.
It's actually black, so. Yeah, not too much sugar.
Wow, someone's cool. Well, maybe it's still too much sugar. You don't know.
Yeah, for her, yeah. She takes just the coffee beans. She just grinds the beans, and that's it. That's her coffee.
No, that's why you're the best. We just kind of got into like the most random.
Actually, though, this trails off a lot. All right, back to the movie.
Matt,
I'm actually really interested. What's the main reason? Is it because you didn't realize it was a comedy at first, or something else that you didn't?
I think I just didn't get into it. I think I liked it. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. But I think for me, there was no moment where I was like, damn, like I really enjoyed this movie.
Right.
And I think it was a combination of like a bunch of preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Because when I think of Heath Ledger, I think, you want to know how I got these scars?
Yeah.
See, my father was a drinker and a fiend.
That's pretty good Joker.
Thank you. I had to do that monologue for a theater class once.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Yeah, that's a good monologue. I have to say.
I aced that and then failed my classical monologue.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't it? I thought it was the time where he like walks in on the whole like conference and he's like, ha. And I thought my jokes were bad. I thought it was that one.
It was the one where he had the knife to the guys.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
Best movie ever.
Actually, I want to do that too. Dark Knight.
Good. Such a great movie. Well, if only you weren't leaving, I'd invite you over.
Yeah, I know.
But you had to go take a trip. We're supposed to record another episode, which we're recording tomorrow.
Perfect.
With 2 other guests. But,
nice. That's cool.
But we moved it because someone here is like, oh, I just realized I can only record on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was like,
I know, sorry.
This kid, what's up with him, man?
I know.
Wants to be on the show, doesn't he? At least you gave us a movie on like some guests before.
Oh, really? Who was that? Can I call him up? Drew. Drew's the only other guest.
Yeah, he's the only other guest.
Okay.
No, Drew's the man. I mean...
I liked his graduation speech.
Yeah,
he
gave
great.
a good graduation speech there.
Yeah.
So, Drew, if you're listening, which hopefully you are, Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. Yeah, he's bald.
Yeah.
Or he shaved recently.
Yeah, he's not like bald.
No, he's not. He lacks hair.
He lacks hair.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. He doesn't lack hair for the.
Okay, Matt. Okay. How would you know that?
No reason.
Okay.
Where do you think you'd rank this movie among the movies you've seen? Obviously, you care enough about it to bring it to both of our attentions.
Definitely. Out of all the movies, like in a ranking,
every movie
that's
ever.
Difficult because I've seen so many really good movies. I'd say around low 30s. So it's like if it's going 1 to up, right? I'd say like 31, maybe high 20s.
I think for me the reason I guess I wasn't in love with it is because for me there's 2 types of movies I like. I like really good movies and I like really terrible movies.
Yeah.
Like it just terrible films. And this one was neither. Yeah. So it's like right in the middle.
Definitely.
Like there were moments where I was like, yeah, this isn't a great film, but there's moments where like, yeah, this is pretty good. You know, there's a lot of cool little stuff in it.
Definitely.
But I think you should watch it. It's a long movie. It is a commitment. You have to commit to it. It's like it's almost 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that kind of hurt it.
2.5 hours didn't feel like that when I watched it. Is it really that long?
Yeah, 2 hours 24 minutes.
That's crazy. See, that's why the 3-part thing. I think the 3-part thing.
I watched it last night.
Yeah.
I went to bed because I was like this. With about like an hour left, and I finished it. I woke up a little early and finished it this morning.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah, I woke up at 5 a.m. Everyone.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
I'm an early riser. It's not that bad.
5 a.m. is pretty early.
Yeah, I know.
Even for me, I live like far out in Queens, and I wake up at 6:30 earliest.
Wow, that's earlier than I wake. That's later than I wake up.
No way. Are you serious? Well,
Yeah.
I take like 30 minutes to get ready and then I leave.
Yeah.
I leave
Well,
at 7.
I like to sit down. I like to have a nice little breakfast, chat with my
I don't,
mom.
I don't do that.
You know,
I shower
take
and
a
leave.
shower. Yeah.
Yeah, I shower and leave
dressed.
before
Shower in the
anyone.
morning, guys.
Yeah,
So-
seriously. I mean, it depends. Honestly, if you don't sweat when you sleep,
Oh yeah.
like I sweat when I sleep. If you're completely not human and you don't sweat at all when you sleep,
If you are a reptile,
with cold
feel
blood,
free to shower in the
yeah,
night
because
time.
if you shower at night and you go to bed, right, your bed is clean. Because you just showered, and every time you go in the bed, you just showered. But for someone like me who showers in the morning, my bed is pretty like I go in my bed after a whole day of like being outside. It's kind of like
And also, I think for me, it wakes me up more.
yeah, it's such a nice way to wake up.
Like, I mean, obviously, like, there's the moments where you're just like, and you like sleepily turn on the shower and it's like freezing cold, and you're like, ah,
yes, I'm awake now. Yeah.
And then there's the other moments where you just like gradually like get into.
I took a cold shower for the first time yesterday.
Oh, how was it?
It was very interesting because I woke up super sweaty because we hadn't installed the AC yet in my room.
Ooh.
And when I sleep, I have this thing where I just take all the blankets and I put it over my entire body. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Even when it's incredibly hot, I do that.
It was so hot yesterday.
It was crazy. It was like 36 at one point. It was
94
insane.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. So like I woke up really sweaty and I went to shower and there's no way I could take a hot shower for that. So I took a cold shower for the entire thing. And at first it's like it's nice, but then it gets uncomfortable and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna soldier on. And I did it, and as you get out of a cold shower, it's the nicest feeling ever. Because you know when you get out of a hot shower and you dry, it's kind of cold, and you're like, oh shit, like, I don't want to do this. If you get out of a cold shower, it's like, oh, now it's warmer, and like I like doing
that
this.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Okay, back to the movie.
So what are your final thoughts on this movie?
My final thoughts is that it really has a warm place in my heart. It has a really nice place in my memory, and it brings back like great moments with my family, with my friends when I first saw it, and it kind of I have this emotional attachment to it where like it was the first time I saw a movie where it was like cheesily deep, and then I just immediately made fun of it, you know, like it was like the first movie I saw that was really like making fun of itself. Yeah.
It's very self-deprecating.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it knows what it is.
Facts.
You know?
Yeah, facts. All right. What about you, Matthew? Final thoughts.
I gotta say, I think this movie, I think upon discussing it, I've learned to like it more. If that makes sense.
With me? Did I have an influence?
Yeah, so
nice.
it's
Okay.
all
I'm
you.
I'm very pleased.
And like, I came into this review and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna like completely trash this movie.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna. I know because I had talked to you. You like all day. You were like, so did you like it? You know? And I was like, wait till the podcast. Which is my way of saying like, it was alright, but I don't really want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, no.
But I think at the end, I'd say it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Would I rush to watch it again? No.
Yeah.
But if someone was like, "Hey, I'm watching A Knight's Tale. You want to watch?" I'll be like, "Sure." You know.
And I think it'd be a different experience for watching with someone else.
Yeah.
I think it'd be because you can kind of laugh about it while you're watching it.
Yeah, you know, you could be like, like this is the most ridiculous. He shouts William.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. That's I laughed at that part out of like ridiculous. But I think one thing that I have to say about myself liking it is I'm very biased about this. Yeah. Like, you know, whenever you watch a movie when you're a kid, it's automatically amazing. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, I think
that's kind of like me with Batman and Robin. Like that's like
my
guilty pleasure movie.
Right? It's like you watch and you're like, this is terrible, but I love it. Yeah, yeah,
because
exactly.
when you were a kid, you're like, this movie's awesome.
Yeah,
so many puns. They're so funny.
They're so funny. It's time to break the ice.
So colorful. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
It's like, no, it didn't. That's not what that was.
That's not actually true.
That's not what that was.
But as a kid, you're like, I agree.
I know. That's it.
That's why I failed my history test. Yeah. So as we're starting to wrap up here, any final thoughts in general, or anything you want to plug? You want to plug the gram or something?
What, the gram?
Yeah.
Instagram?
Yes.
My Instagram?
Graham Crackers.
Graham Crackers. Oh my God, that guy.
Yeah.
We had a college
seminar and this guy was like, Graham Crackers.
Graham Crackers.
When he was talking about
well, I have nothing to plug.
Sure
I have nothing interesting going on in my life, so I can't.
You wanna plug your Instagram?
My Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Follow me on Instagram. I got like Matt pics of my neighborhood and like my vacation stuff. You might see some Greece if you're lucky.
You know what's the easiest way to plug your Instagram?
What?
If you say the name.
I'm about to say it. Okay. Don't laugh. It's my username. I actually have a long story about this. I'm not gonna say it now. But it's at Maxipuddle. Okay. It's MaxiPuddle.
Nice.
Like
you could take my job, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can be the plug guy.
Actually, no, but the story is my dad came up with that. So.
Wow, what a really long story that you didn't want to get into.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. If you want to follow the show, you can get in touch with us on Twitter. You can go to twitter.com/Mattandedshow. Nice. If you would like to email us, we do accept any emails with any questions. We're hoping to build up eventually to the point where we can get a Q&A episode going.
Ooh,
that might take a while.
Yeah, live on Twitter, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be mattandedshow@gmail.com. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes.
That's the easiest way to get all the updates for new videos and stuff. Just search Matt and Ed Show on YouTube. We also are soundcloud.com/Matt-and-Ed-Show.
I like it.
You can check us out on there. If you have any comments for us, feel free to leave them in the comments section of YouTube.
Cool.
Love it or hate it, except my mom reads the comments, so don't be too mean.
Please, guys.
Yeah, she'll come
She's a nice
after
lady.
you.
She's a nice lady.
She'll fight you.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess thank you guys so much for listening. I want to thank Maxim so much for not only coming on as a guest, but taking over for Ed. You guys might see the spin-off Matt and Maxim show, especially if we end up both going to Maryland and Ed can't do the show
We're doing
anymore.
this. We're doing this in Maryland. Yes. Okay. I want to thank you so much, Matt, for inviting me on the show. It was very fun.
It was a pleasure, dude.
Yes, indeed.
We're handshaking right now. 2 shakes release.
What is it called? Web to web.
Web to web.
Yeah. Grip the
palm.
They have no idea what
2
we're
shakes
talking about.
release. Yeah, no one outside of our grade knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Go watch A Knight's Tale. Why not? It's pretty fun.
Yes, it's fun.
And yeah, thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.